St. Peter's Valley, Jersey on a cold January day, and a group of people work together on a project that's worth millions. This is one section of a production company in Jersey to film part of Force 10 from Navarone, adapted from the Alistair MacLean novel of the same name.
After Harrison. I think we can get that all together. Once more, please.
The filmmakers have realised the potential of the sequel. This production follows the Guns of Navarone, another MacLean story which was made 17 years ago. But fans of the author will know that Force 10 is set in the mountains of Yugoslavia. So what were this company doing in Jersey? I put the question to Oliver Unger, one of the film's producers.
We had a problem. We were shooting in Yugoslavia and winter came very early. We started to hunt around for a location that would match it, and our people came up with Jersey.
Jersey really looks like Yugoslavia.
This part of it, where we are, these trees and the forests and all that, we're back home in Yugoslavia.
Did you have some help from the authorities?
Yes, the tourist board here has been very cooperative. They gave us all the information we wanted, and considering that these things are usually planned many months in advance, and we were doing it on relatively short term, they've done a wonderful job.
Because it's a major exercise, isn't it, to this sort of thing?
It's like moving a small army. You see the trucks, the tanks, the people. I think we're here with about 100 people.
Are you on schedule at the moment?
Oh.
Not too bad.
Well, as far as here is concerned, this is our first day of shooting, so it's hard to be behind. But overall, this is a giant movie, and we're running within 10 or 15% of our projected running time, and hopefully 16 days of shooting, and we'll be finished in Jersey, and then we have a few more days in Plymouth and a little shooting in Malta, and then we wrap it up.
So you're very dependent on the Jersey weather holding for you?
If Jersey can give us 16 good days in a row, we'll build a monument to the town.
Save the brutes for a moment, fellas. So cheap.
But Jersey won't be getting that statue. Within minutes of our interview with Mr. Unger, the rain started. For the stars and the camera, that means a golf umbrella, but such luxuries don't extend to the film crew. Rehearsals go on. A scene only a few seconds long on the screen may take more than half an hour to film. During a take, the set gets crowded with actors and technicians, so others are kept elsewhere until they're needed. Half a mile away at La Hague Manor, some of the local extras hired for the month that the unit's in Jersey are still waiting to be told what to do. Those German uniforms are made of heavy serge, extremely useful in the wintry conditions. Unless, of course, you're a star, when you're entitled to a specially provided heated caravan. So how long had the extras been waiting?
It's about 7 o'clock.
Since 7 o'clock
Yeah.
this morning. Have they given you any idea what time they're going to call you?
Not at the moment, no.
How much are you being paid?
£8 a day.
That's a secret attack.
Tell me, there are rumours that you've all had to have your head shaved to play Germans, is that right?
Yeah, the wife did mine last night.
They asked for a trim.
And
It was long.
That's right. So how many days filming are you doing?
Probably
Still,
tomorrow as well.
Today and tomorrow.
2 days.
They haven't told you what sort of things you're going to be doing yet?
Well, no,
Something
no,
about a paratrooper stuck in a tree, you know?
I think a lot of it's on
patrolling.
patrol.
Yeah,
with
on
patrols,
patrol.
yeah, around these
Yeah.
grounds.
What were the qualifications that meant that you got the pass?
Just got to die.
I
think it was a good
Like
German.
Got to die well.
Okay, Jack, Dick, when you're ready, right? Come straight out, all right? Let's try.
Not extras this time, but professional stuntmen rehearsing for another scene. Many of these men have appeared in numbers of other films as a variety of different characters. Some of them have the scars to prove the risks that they take. The stunt coordinator for Force 10, Eddie Stacy, has, while he's in Jersey, to stand in for an American military policeman and a German officer who was beheaded in a partisan ambush. The stuntmen don't merely have to appear themselves, they're also responsible for training up the extras, who have to look as convincing as the real thing.
That worked fine, thank you. Smash it, that worked.
Go on, go into it.
Val.
It's hard work, but gradually the lawn in front of La Hague begins to resemble the military training camp that it's supposed to be. Everyone takes the training very seriously. Time is of the essence. The extras must be ready by the day scheduled for filming.
A bit more meaning when you go in, a bit more meaning. Right.
It's not all hand-to-hand combat. Elsewhere, another group are performing heroics on plastic barbed wire. Eddie Stacey is running this session, and he's been joined by the actor Carl Weathers, who played the heavyweight boxing champion in the film Rocky.
Carl, who are you playing in the film?
I'm playing a guy named Weaver. He's like a young Eddie Stacey, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's a bit of a change from the prize fighter that you played in Rocky.
Oh yeah, a little bit of a change to say the least. This time I get a chance to stick people with knives and hit people rather than being hit all the time, you know, which is a little nicer, believe me.
Here we are 3 days into location filming in Jersey. You're still not been on the set yet, have you?
I didn't know we were in Jersey.
Is that
I thought we were still in London.
Do you find that the waiting game gets a bit tedious?
Well, I asked to have somebody to talk to, and you showed up, and I'm happy. So that shows how bad it was. It's a little slow, to say the least.
Is it the type of film, or?
Well, this is the kind of film that is so spaced out over actually a short period of time, and we have to keep things matched, you know, and if the weather changes from one week to the next week, then we're sort of lost when it's all supposed to be happening in the same day. So that's what's happened here, and it's a little difficult to kind of maintain your energy, a little difficult to maintain your interest, but that's the challenge, I guess.
What's been the most difficult thing for you to grasp, playing this part?
Most difficult thing to grasp is not to be funny, to be, no, I'm being ridiculous. The most difficult thing to grasp is this film, if you want to know the truth. I haven't seen a hell of a lot of it yet. I mean, it's like today, you know. We sit here and we're trying to get things organized, and we have lighting, and we have so much to do with. This is supposed to be night right now, and as we all can see, it's not night. So you have that to deal with. The technicians have extreme amounts of work, so that's probably the most difficult thing to grasp, just not being able to get in front of the camera and turn it on and do your thing. You have to wait until everything is right, you know. You're really getting is the look, right, Joe? If I pull it out, you get the look.
For Weathers, too, a small piece of action means lengthy rehearsal. Positions of characters and props must be just right so that the film will cut together properly.
Yeah, good.
Right, Jane Blood.
Rehearsals are complete and the director's satisfied. Now it's time to apply the final touches. Details are important, so the knife must have blood on it. Filmmakers use a now famous substance known as Kensington gore.
Do you read all this?
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay. All right. Is that supposed to remain on?
Half on.
It's half on to start with.
Put it on without the strips, put it on, but don't fix the strap. Put it on his head. Put it on his head. There you go, there you go.
I'll just hold him like so.
So lift him up and drop him in
Yes.
on action. Quiet!
No,
Keep quiet!
push it forward a bit.
No, Danny, it's going to fall off as it comes in.
All right, John.
Right, roll it! 727, take one. Right, lift him up and drop him in, car ready. Action! Cut, one more.
Meanwhile, elsewhere on the island, a transformation is taking place. Gun emplacements and heavy bombers have sprung up almost overnight.
When you're making a feature film, time is of the essence. And one of director Guy Hamilton's requirements was an Italian airbase called Termoli, where the team stealed 2 Lancaster bombers to fly off on their mission. Well, time and expenses didn't allow for the whole film crew to fly to Italy. So Guy Hamilton's answer? Well, he built his own airfield, here on Leland Common in Jersey. The team spent 3 days building 2 huge mock-up Lancasters, all for about 10 seconds shooting.
Unfortunately, the blue skies on this particular day weren't to last. Week 4 arrives and the weather is much worse. The crew have moved to Grone at St. Juan, despite heavy rain and gale-force winds, with filming now several days behind schedule. At first glance, the area looks deserted, but cables lead away down the cliffs to the spot where a cluster of technicians are struggling to shoot another scene. The main actor is Robert Shaw, famous for his roles in The Deep, Jaws and The Sting. In Force 10 he portrays Major Mallory, and this is a carefully staged fall from a cliff face. The scene at Grone will be one of the first that you see when Force 10 is complete. But today it's not going at all well. Director Guy Hamilton comes on set to sort out the problems. And while that goes on, the crew wait and the freezing rain begins again. With every minute wasted, hundreds of pounds are ticking away. But the scene's important and it can't be rushed. All they can do is hang on and perhaps utter a silent prayer.
Where's the cardboard box?
Bill.
Come lower now, John.
St. Peter's Valley again, and a break in the weather. Today the crew are working with another of the principals, Edward Fox, who plays the explosives expert Sergeant Miller. In this scene, Fox has been caught in a tree after parachuting into Yugoslavia. But before he arrives on set, the camera angles must be checked. A stuntman stands in for Fox, and a team of scene shifters haul him 20 feet off the ground on a system of wires.
That's about it, Pete, thank you. How does that look now? Yeah, I think that's pretty good. It's not too bad. And then a bit of swing. Okay. Yes.
A final check through the lens, and they're ready to do a take.
Open up the lens a little,
A chauffeur-driven car brings Edward Fox down from La Hague, and he's realised that time is running short. The light's failing fast, and the scene must be completed today. However, in spite of the urgency, he still manages to stay relaxed. Suddenly, the set is busy again, and everyone's needed for a few hectic minutes.
Peter? Right, you're over there.
They went for the height, John.
Lighting and even tree branches have been positioned so that the framing of the shot is just right. The actor must fit exactly into the cameraman's picture.
That's lower than before, which I think is...
Open your right hand over the branch, Edward.
21, take 2.
The clapperboard identifies each scene, making it easier to put them in order, because most are shot out of sequence. The set is silent again, and we all keep our fingers crossed. It's a very simple shot, but again there are problems, this time with the parachute release.
Cut.
Sorry.
Edward Fox stayed unruffled, and during a break I asked him why he'd chosen acting as a career.
I didn't turn to it to begin with much real enthusiasm. I mean, I rather drifted into it.
What was the first piece of acting that you took up?
Well, I went to a drama school. That was not a very serious time for me. Then I went into repertory theatre in England, and quite quickly it became, instead of being playing about and fun and quite amusing, it suddenly became in earnest, I think. And I thought this was, I seem to have fallen fitted, you know. Sometimes you do.
Since then, of course, you've taken part in stage plays, films and television. What are the differences between working in television and working in the film business?
Well, in television you can do what you can't do on a film. The type of material, the parts. So it's very nice from the actor's point of view, really. Filming is a much more elongated, long drawn-out process.
We've seen the routine of making a feature film. Is it difficult to switch yourself on and off as you come on and off the set?
No, that part isn't difficult.
What is the most difficult part?
I think the most difficult part about filming, really, is to, well, provided the performance is all right, is to keep yourself ready all the time. I mean, it sounds as if I'm answering the last question in a different way, but when you've got 4 months, it's a boring process, really. Getting things on film is finally a boring process. Because there are so many departments involved who have to do their part of the work before you can do yours. So you are very often waiting around.
Yeah.
That time has to be used. You can't just sit and wait. It has to be used doing something. But really, finally, your responsibility is to the next moment that you're going to do. And that requires some concentration.
Do you find that restricting on you as an actor?
Yes, I suppose so. I mean, when we're talking about acting, yes. But it is a type of acting, acting on film. Well, it's acting in a certain medium, which is just as rewarding and just as difficult as any other. Different rewards and different difficulties.
Let's take, for example, The Day of the Jackal, which is probably a film which a lot of people may remember you in. That, of course, was a very tense, very exciting film, building up to a terrific climax at the end. Was it, in fact, did one get any sense of what it was to be while you were filming it?
Well, I rather sensed that it would be an important film. Yes, I think everybody did. Mainly because of its director. Whether it would be a greatly appealing version of the story, one just didn't know, but I rather thought it could be, yes.
Do you read the books before you take part in the film?
I did in that instance, yes. I read it a lot.
How about this one? Does it help or a hindrance to read the book, have you found?
It depends. You get an instinct, I do anyway, about whether I should or I shouldn't. Sometimes I know definitely it's not worthwhile, and sometimes you know definitely that you must.
Your work takes you all over the world, and a lot of people may say, well, lucky chap, he gets a chance to travel, to see places he wouldn't see. But of course, I know, having seen you, that very little time is actually spent seeing the place where you are.
Very little, very little. You see the hotel, the route to the location from the car, the location, the route back to the hotel, and the hotel again.
Is that ever a source of regret to you?
Not really. It's a job for which I'm very adequately paid, you know.
As an actor in the film business, are you totally dependent on the team of people who are working with you?
Totally. Yes.
In what ways particularly on set?
Well, it's a collaborative business, making films. But really what goes on behind the camera is how the film is made. Of course, the acting is vitally important, but it's only one of a number of functions. And yes, I would say in reply to that question.
Have you worked on a film where you've come into conflict with the production side because you felt you wanted to do it one way and they felt you ought to do it another way?
Usually there's a point in a film when you do, yes, usually.
Who wins normally?
It depends. Again, it's very often a compromise, and there is a right path which one person, one side may be right about it or the other side may be right about it, but it's only by coming into conflict that you can find out which is. You know, it doesn't, because two people have different opinions doesn't mean they shouldn't argue, it really means they should.
The break is only too short, and the crew return to the valley. It's a demanding routine, but the pay is good. This picture has a budget of $10 million, and the producers say that they've already spent far more. When you're not on set, that's the time for the actors to be checking their scripts, and for the technicians to be adjusting equipment or simply waiting till they're needed. When this film's complete, everyone goes their separate ways, many to work on other pictures. It won't be until Force 10 hits the box offices at Christmas that they'll know whether their efforts have been worthwhile.